Hey, this is section 2, day 1. We're going to take a look at ordering numbers and number lines. Pretty straightforward, but we'll move through a couple of these examples and then we'll be done for today. Okay, two things that I want you to remember when you're ordering these numbers, things that can make things easier on you. Okay, number one, you can move your negative numbers together. Okay. Second, I want you to convert your fractions to decimals. Okay, this is going to make things a whole lot easier on you. So first, move your negatives together and your positives together, and then second, turn your fractions into decimals. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this first example. All right, so we're going to go ahead and convert these numbers. Negative 2 is obviously negative 2. We're going to take our negative 3/2, so we're going to move him over here. Negative 3/2 into a decimal is negative 1.5. Okay, then we got 4, we got 0, got 1.5, and we got 1/2, which is also known as 0.5. Okay, so now that we got all those converted, let's go ahead and plot them on our graph. Okay, so we have negative 2. Let's go ahead and put it on there. We got negative 1.5 right next to him. We have 4. We have 0. We have 1.5. And we have 0.5. Okay, if you would like to, you can go back there and label all these. So we could go ahead and do that. Let's do it in a different color. We could do negative 2, negative 1.5, 0, 0.5, 1.5, and 4. Okay. Now that you've gone ahead and organized all these, put them on the number line, you can easily organize them from greatest to least or least to greatest, however the question asks you to do it. Okay, so that's all we're doing. We're going ahead and organizing numbers, putting them on number lines. Okay, let's try a measure. Okay, remember first thing, we want to go ahead and organize these by negatives and positives. So let's go ahead and put our negatives together. So we have negative 3, negative 1, negative 5/4, 0, 4, 3/2. Okay, so there's all of our numbers. Now that we've gotten those all together, let's go ahead and convert them to decimals. Okay, so negative 3 is just negative 3. Negative 1 is negative 1. Negative 5/4, if you put that into your calculator, would be negative 1.25. And we got 0. We got 4. And 3/2 would just be 1.5. Okay, so there's our numbers that we're going to go ahead and put on our line graph. Let's go ahead and start. Let's put them in there in red. So we got negative 3, negative 3, we got negative 1, we got negative 1.25, let's go ahead and zoom in for that. Got negative 1.25, it's kind of just a guess. Then we got 0. We got 4, and we got 1.25, or 1.5, excuse me. Okay, so now that we got all those guys on there, you could go ahead and label your points. Actually, I would prefer that you do that. Go ahead on your notes and label each one of those points, and we can go ahead and move on. All right. Before we get going on these, I got a joke for you. What do you name a guy with no arms and no legs hanging on the wall? Think about it. Think about it. Art. Ha 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 ha. Surely you guys have met a guy named Art. Anyway, I have. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at these two examples. Okay, let's go ahead and organize them by negatives and positives like we have been doing. So we got negative 15/6. And we have negative 2. And let's go ahead and put absolute value of negative 3 over here. We can do that. Square root of 16. 3 squared. Yep, running out of room. And 21%. Okay, now we need to take all these guys, we need to convert it into decimals so that we can go ahead and put it on our little line graph. Okay, so negative 15/6, if you type that in your calculator, you should get negative 2.5. Negative 2 is negative 2. Now when you get to absolute value, all that means is it wants you to change the number on the inside to a positive number. So in this case, you would have absolute value of negative 3. That would just give you 3. Okay. Square root of 16, if you type that in your calculator, you get 4. We learned that in the last lesson. 3 squared means 3 times 3, which is 9. And 21%, we can put that in a decimal as 0.21. Okay, so there's all of our numbers. Let's go ahead and plot some points. Okay, negative 2.5. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this guy. We got negative 2.5. We're going to put him right here. Then we got negative 2. We got 3. We got 4. We got to move over here a little bit. We got 9. And we have 0.21, so almost at 0. Okay, so there you have your line graph with all your points. I would like you to go back, take a look at those, and put the labels on them. Make sure you put the labels on your notes. Okay, last one we're going to do together, and the last two I'll let you do on your own ski. Alright, let's go ahead and put these in negatives and positives. So we got negative 5%. We got negative square root of 9. And then we got all of our positives. 2 cubed, 3.1, pi, and 2.5. Okay, let's go ahead and convert all these to decimals. Okay, so we got negative 5%, also known as negative 0.05. Negative square root of 9. Now, if you type this on your calculator, what would you type in? I would type a negative sign, then a square root, and then 9. Push enter, and that should give you a negative 3. 2 cubed means 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. Then 3.1. Pi, what is that number? Okay, it's a little bit bigger than 3.1. You have 3.14. Okay, and then 2.5. Okay, so there's all of our numbers. Let's go ahead and plot them on our grid. Okay, so our first one is 0.05, so we're pretty much at 0. It's a little too far away, but that's okay. 0.05, then we got negative 3. We got 8. We got 3.1. We got 3.14. So we got to zoom in. 3.14. And lastly, we have 2.5. Okay, so just like all the other ones, I want you to go in on your notes, label these, make sure you know how to convert each one of these different types of numbers, whether it be an exponent, a square root, a percent, or whatever. Make sure you can turn it into a decimal. Alright, I'm going to make it your turn now. There's two different examples. Same thing we've been doing. You got fractions, you got exponents, you got square roots. I want you guys just to take a few minutes, plot these and label them on these line graphs, and then go ahead and take a look at your whisk for the day. Peace.